Thank you so much, Kimberly. Can you hear me okay?
Can hear you great.
Great. Thank you. And thank you for that drive down memory lane. Like you, I've been in the IT industry, well, over 40 years, I will admit. And there's never been a more exciting time to be a woman in technology than now. I started by learning to program with punch cards on machines, so very much related somewhat to the women in Hidden Figures, and what a wonderful story. So with that, I've got a great panel today of subject matter experts on how you can partner with IBM. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what each will talk about before I introduce them one by one. First, we'll hear from Jennifer Carpenter. She is our Vice President of Talent Acquisition. IBM recently pledged to scale 30 million people globally by 2030. This pledge will enable IBM to create new, innovative products and foster an inclusive future for a changing world. As we continue to nurture and advance our cloud strategy capabilities at IBM, we are looking for talented future IBMers just like you with sets of skills that exist in this Women in Cloud community. Jennifer's talk will focus on key initiatives and programs at IBM to recruit, hire, and retain the world's best female talent. So she will be our first power panel speaker. Second, we'll talk about business development and alliances. I have two speakers in that area. The first will be Jennifer Turner. She is from procurement and supplier diversity for cloud and AI in particular. She'll speak about IBM's D&I journey, our commitment to supplier diversity, how women-owned businesses can engage and grow with IBM as a diverse supplier. And she'll be followed by Ralph Jacobson, who works with me in IBM's partner ecosystem. He will speak about the value to women-owned information technology companies in particular of becoming an IBM business partner. IBM business partners are critical to our go-to-market strategy for sales to our clients to help them develop and grow their businesses. So with that, let me introduce our first panelist, who is Jennifer Carpenter. Jennifer is the Vice President of Talent Acquisition, Executive Search, and Integration at IBM. She oversees the strategic vision for the global talent acquisition function and is responsible for more than 50,000 hires annually, as well as building strong consultative services with business leaders. She leads our IBM's workforce demand planning, empathy-based boarding, 21st century sourcing, AI-infused talent technology development, global employer branding, and digital transformation of key talent functions. And in her spare time, Jennifer, her husband, 3 daughters, and super mutt Danny boy reside in Connecticut. So let's start with Jennifer. Jennifer, as an icebreaker, what's something you believed earlier in your career but think about differently now?
Well, thank you so much, Denise, for that nice introduction. Boy, that was a mouthful. So thank you for introducing me so well. And before I answer that question, let me fair warning. Today, my girls, the 3 daughters you mentioned, are coming home early from school because it's early dismissal. So if we get a little sneak attack coming in asking me for a snack or something, I hope you bear with me. So one of the things that, as I reflect on that question, that I got caught up with early in my career is thinking I had to have everything lined up perfectly before I went for it. You know, went for that new job, said yes to that stretch assignment. And I questioned myself maybe more than others did. I was a pretty tough critic. And it reminded me of a study. And just before this meeting, I looked it up. It's from Harvard Business Review. So if you guys are interested, you can Google it as well. That women, when they apply to opportunities, jobs, they wait until they're 100% aligned to the skill requirements of the job. Men apply when they're aligned 60% of the time. And as a talent acquisition leader, I would say, gosh, I wish I learned that lesson earlier in my career and went for it a little bit more, because I felt like the only person that was holding me back was myself, because I thought people were looking for perfection. And I was worried that I was somehow going to not be able to do the job, rather than having confidence that I can figure it out and I'm going to be surrounded by people who can help me figure it out. So I would just leave you with that thought, and hopefully inspire others to think you don't have to be perfect to go for it, certainly in your career.
Thank you for that. I remember a few years ago when Jenny Rometty, the first female president, CEO of IBM, spoke at the Fortune 50 conference, and she too talked about a similar time when she was offered a promotion. She was asked to take on a responsibility that was global of an entire division within IBM, and she paused. And it was for the same thing. She was thinking about, these are all the things I need to know, and I'm not perfect in every area. But when she went home, and so she asked to think about it, and when she went home and spoke to her husband said, "Are you kidding me? If there'd been a guy, he would have just taken the opportunity."
Sure.
Obviously, if they didn't believe that you could learn and grow, they wouldn't have offered you the opportunity. So that's so true. That's so true. So what are IBM's talent initiatives and programs to recruit, hire, and retain the world's best female talent?
Well, I am so proud to be here. I'm a relatively new joiner to IBM. I've been an IBMer since March 2020. And if you can think back to what was going on in the world the first week of March in 2020, it was quite an interesting time to join a new organization, quickly meet folks, and then be sent back home, and then have to figure out how we run a global enterprise at our scale from our kitchen counters. So with the competition in the market, with the scarcity of skill that we face, not just here in the United States, but around the world, we have our work cut out for us. And why I'm here, why I chose IBM, is because I'm so inspired by their skill build mission. And it is not a new mission. Another thing I'd love you guys to Google, if you're as interested in it as I, is a program that we call P-Tech. And it's something that we're celebrating a decade of establishing technical programs in high schools, not just in the United States, but around the world, where we IBMers are working with academia to give high school kids, largely from underrepresented communities, pathways into tech careers, where they study technology curriculum, they get their high school diploma, and then also a 2-year associate, all in technical skills. So P-Tech is an amazing program. This past year, my team helped to bring on 1,000 apprentices, largely sourced from our P-Tech programs. Some of those kids are high school kids who are having internships with IBM. So it's not just lip service, it's real opportunity. Those were earn and learn opportunities. And through our internships and building those diverse pipelines, we're really making a difference. Not only are we seeing women's representation at IBM improve year on year, certainly they're improving gangbusters in our hiring numbers, I'm very proud to say, but in the United States as well, we are already hiring at representation across our Black society. So, when you think about what does success look like for us, it's we want to represent the societies in which we operate. So, I'm going to retire when we're at 50% female. We got a little ways to go. We're making ground. But that's going to be, people say, when are you going to retire, Jennifer? How much money will it take in your 401k to retire? I'm like, no, it's not that. It's what is the representation of our hiring numbers. When I know I can say I was just a small part of that, I think I can, hang up my hat.
So are there some specific initiatives around women in cloud in terms of your recruitment priorities?
There are. So presently we have thousands of open positions in cloud. So I would encourage you to look on our career site and check those out for yourself. I also believe a member of the Women in Cloud group will be texting you a link where you can drop your name and we can come back and talk with you personally about those opportunities and give you a little one-on-one time. So very much happy to do that. But going back to that skills point, the Skill Build program offers anyone who wants to continue to sharpen their skills in this space free opportunities to do so. I also want to give a shout out to our IBM Center for Cloud Training. This is, again, online super curriculum to help you build skills to prepare, hopefully for a position at IBM, but we'd be happy if to give you pathways into any organization in this career, because maybe you'll call us up one day. But I would check out IBM Center for Cloud Training, because there you can also earn industry-wide certifications to not just say you did it, but prove you're certified in these skills. So, and why I mention that, Denise, is it's not about degrees anymore. Some of you may have read research about being dismissed by degrees, and I think that we've turned the page on requiring four-year degrees as a kind of cost of admission. We look for skills. It's all about the skills, and the skills don't have to come out of these four-year brick and mortar programs anymore. So again, when you think about what you need to go for it, it might be a lot less than many people assume, that companies like IBM expect you to have the degree, expect you to have the advanced degree. Not necessarily. There are entryways and pathways into IBM, into tech careers, for those that really show their learning agility and their grit and a little bit of their moxie to grow their skills in technology.
That's great. I noticed in your bio, it said that you're a strong advocate for humanizing candidate and employee experiences through empathy and inclusion in every moment. Can you talk about that and a little bit about IBM's culture and our journey in diversity and inclusion?
You know, that's another thing I jump out of bed in the morning thinking about that. I often say, and I've got some members of my team that are going to be joining you guys on Roundtable, so they may have heard me say this before, but we need to be designing for the disappointed. And what I mean by that is IBM gets 3 million applicants a year. We have a lot of jobs. We don't have 3 million jobs. So I'm not as concerned per se by the people we select, you know, to get that golden ticket at the end of the hiring process. I'm concerned and focused on everybody who gives IBM the time to explore opportunities. It's like, you know, when you have someone, you invite them over to your home and they're knocking on the door. Can you imagine if you just didn't open the door, or you didn't offer them to come in and be gracious and allow them the time and respect to get to know them a little bit better? So we're using technology in ways to, you know, really ensure that we're listening to our candidates, that it's reciprocal. You know, we have all this great skill building content. Why can't we give them gifts of reciprocity? You know, they've given us their time. We owe them something. We owe every candidate something, because they have been so gracious to explore opportunities with us, because they have choice in this competitive landscape. So my hope, you know, hopefully my mother would be very proud. I'm trying to be a very gracious host to anyone who explores opportunities with us, that you walk away, even if you might not get the job, because so many sadly won't, because we don't have 3 million positions to hand out every year, but they walk away being better for it. And hopefully they'll come back and for a return trip, and they'll always keep us in mind as they continue to develop their careers.
And so in closing, is there any maybe 1 minute of advice you would give to women who are pursuing careers in cloud, whether it be IBM or anyone else?
Oh, what would I say? You know, I say this to my kids: never give up, never surrender. You know, you've got to lean in, you got to build the skills, and you got to advocate for yourself, and don't wait for others to give you opportunity. You got to make it for yourself. Get a little creative. And you know, my little girl Em is 11, and yesterday we were walking downtown for some ice cream, and she said, "Mom, I'm student council is happening," and you know, she's in 5th grade, and her older sister did it, and she said, "I'm going to try to do it too, but you know, there's only 2 girls that are going to get elected from my class, and 6 girls are going to run, and I'm really worried I'm not going to win. I'm the new kid. I'm not as popular as Valentina. She wants to beat Valentina worse than anything. But she said, I'm just not as popular as those other girls." And I said, you know, I don't care if you win or lose. I'm so proud of you that you're even trying, knowing that maybe the odds are against you. So when you hear that there's 3 million people who apply to IBM, and maybe I'm not as good as Valentina or some of those other 3 million applicants that are applying to IBM, don't sell yourself short, because you never know if you don't try. And, if at first you don't succeed, try again. You just got to be tenacious, and keep going. Keep going. If you want something, you got to keep after it. So I hope you feel inspired that, sometimes it doesn't go your way. Emma might not win student council with those odds, but I'm proud that she's trying. And I think we have to remind ourselves every day to keep trying, keep at it.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. And a late welcome to IBM 2020. You get the prize for the most recent IBM.
I love it here. I'm staying here.
And we want you to stay. So thank you so much. I know Jennifer and her team, many from her team globally, will be available later on this afternoon for the breakout session. So thanks so much again.